So I was 18 years old, I was fresh out of high school and I had won a university scholarship. That scholarship was about leadership development, and so part of that scholarship was to go up and walk the Kokoda Track and to discover what it meant to become a leader. So we had 10 days in a Papua New Guinea jungle wet season in the month of January, which was particularly wet. We had 3 evacuations along the way. All the boys were evacuated, and because of those evacuations we got so far behind schedule that we had to end up covering 25% of the track in one day, and it was a 22-hour day to finish, and it was physical agony. It was the most horrendous thing I'd ever done in my life. But I met the most extraordinary people along the way, and if it weren't for the local Papua New Guinean guides that we had with us, there was no way that I'd be sitting here today. I then did my studies in Papua New Guinea, so I did my honours thesis up there, and then I eventually did my doctorate in PNG. And whilst I was doing my doctorate, I spent weeks and months living in the communities along the Kokoda Track, which is where I was collecting my data from. And it was during that time that the foundation was formed, and that me and this other group of people got together and decided that we needed to do something to improve the education and the health outcomes of all the communities living along and around the track. One of the coolest things that we've done over the years is our Lighting Up the Track project. So this is our solar lighting project, and we've now distributed over 4,500 of these solar lights to every adult living along the Kokoda Track, and they're just wonderful. On the back here you've got the solar panel, which needs to go out in the sun all day, and then on the front you've got 2 levels of lighting. You click it once and you get those 6 LEDs come on, and you click it twice and you get all the LEDs come on. And from a full day solar charge, they'll last for 8 hours on full charge and 15 hours on half charge. And these little things have literally changed the lives of the people living along the Kokoda Track. Children can now study and do their homework after dark for the first time ever. Mums and dads can work on small businesses. Women are safer. It's safer to walk around the community, and respiratory and health problems are decreased because they no longer have to burn dangerous kerosene or campfires simply as a source of lighting. So these have been absolutely amazing, and we now run these through our micro business and micro lending programs, where we make loans of these solar lights to the women's groups along the track, and they then sell the lights for a profit, and they repay us the cost of the lights. So far we've had a 100% success rate in the repayment of the loans. It's a father-daughter duo, and the daughter's a single mum and was struggling with her electricity bill, and she started using these solar lights around the house. I think they put about 12 of them around the house. They just put a bit of string in them, put them on every doorknob, and turned them on every evening that she got home from work and her child got home from school. And they still watched the television, they still put the lights on in the kitchen when they were cooking, but there was no residual use of lights, and all of that unnecessary use of lights stopped, and her electricity bill went down to 25% of what it was originally. And I've seen the bills and I believe her. And you know, there's amazing use of these here in Sydney and here across Australia. And then we met and we both said, wow, we've got to take these into the bush, we've got to take them into the remote jungles of the Kokoda Track. Obviously got interest from Fiji, there's groups in Samoa who are interested. We think we could take this across the whole Pacific region, and it would just be as life-changing as it has been in our region. So when we first got started 11 years ago, we went up there and just spent a lot of time in the communities trying to work out what they wanted. There was no point us going in and telling them what we thought they needed. We had to hear from the people. And what they told us time and time again was that they couldn't afford to send their children to go to school. So we started just by running a very simple scholarship program, paying for the school fees, paying for the resources and the boarding for children to go off to school, and they start at primary school. We fund them to go all the way through to high school and then on to university. We've now funded over 1,400 children to go to school, and parents report that it's just life-changing. However, we realised also pretty early on that there was no point sending children to school if there was no teacher at that school, or there were no books or chairs to sit on, no classrooms or no school at all. So we now take a much more holistic approach to our work in communities. There's also no point investing in education if the health standards of a community are really poor. So when we work in a community, we look across the board at what the needs are. We might build a school, we might train a teacher, we might pay for a teacher's salary, we might train a health worker to go in and then operate that aid post and to go on patrols throughout the region, a whole range of things. So the Kokoda College we are embarking on this year, and it's our biggest initiative to date. Kokoda College is going to be a state-of-the-art learning facility which will be based in Kokoda Village itself, and it will operate a school of education and a school of health. It was so hard at the beginning, and it was hard because it was a situation of chicken and the egg. So people are not going to invest in you until you can demonstrate what you're doing and that you're doing it well. But in order for you to do something, you have to have someone to take that leap of faith and to give you that initial capital to start up. We really enjoy the independence that comes with not having any government funding, and it enables us to partner with corporates and philanthropists and business leaders who are happy to take risks that are about innovation and are about responding to issues in the most time efficient and innovative way. Over the years, we've really had to work hard at broadening our funding sources. So we do a whole range of things. We still rely on those individuals, those philanthropists, but we do a lot of grant writing. We work with trusts and foundations. We work with businesses, both in Australia and in PNG. We work with the general public and via our website and social media. We've got a whole range of ways that you can donate, and we do a lot of events. So we have fundraising dinners every year. We partner with the Hawthorn Football Club, who run the annual Kokoda game, which is just coming up in a couple of weeks. So we do and that also links in with the awareness raising as well, and trying to keep that spirit of Kokoda alive. So we also wanted to do what we call keep the spirit of Kokoda alive. And so we've got some wonderful friendships with both the Australian diggers who fought in New Guinea and of course the Fuzzy Wuzzy Angels, some of whom still live along the track and others in the catchment area and in the cities these days. And we wanted to tell that story and to keep that spirit alive, and such an important part of going up and walking Kokoda is making that pilgrimage and walking in the footsteps of the diggers and of the Fuzzy Wuzzy Angels. It's when a child's mother says to me, if it wasn't for the foundation, my child would not be in school. And then a decade later, that mother says to me, that same child now has a job and is now supporting my family, and our life is better because of it. Yeah, that is just breathtaking, like you say, and it makes it all worthwhile, makes all the challenges that you go through along the way totally worthwhile.